Hello world, how are you? Hope you are doing good. In today's video, we are going to create this beautiful looking text to binary converter where whatever text we type here gets converted to binary and gets displayed on the right. For example, if I say, how are you? That gets converted. So let's just get started. Okay, so like our previous videos, I have live server running on my Firefox editor on the right, and on the left we have 4 files open right now: index.html, style.css, main.js, and design.txt, which contains some of the colors that we'll be using in this project. Let's go back to index.html and start with our HTML coding. Let's give it a title of text to binary converter. And let's put an emoji of a robot here. Okay, I just save it and we can see that it gets reflected in our live server. For the body part, we'll create a div tag and we'll give it a class of container. So inside this container we'll have 2 sub containers again with div tags. Let's give it a class of human display. So in this div tag we'll have our where we'll be able to enter our text and all, and in another div tag let's call it machine display. Here we'll output our binary. So in human display we'll have an h1 tag which will say this is what we see, and instead of we, let's put an emoji of a family. Okay, and after that let's create a label tag which says please enter text below, and let's have an emoji of a down pointing finger. Okay. After that we'll create an input tag with the type of text, and let's give it a class of input text so that we can query it in the JavaScript. There we have it. Next, in the machine display we'll have another h1 tag. We'll call it this is what machine sees, and instead of machine let's use an emoji of a robot. Cool. And after that we'll have a paragraph tag where we'll output our binary. Let's give it a class of output binary so that we can again query it in the JavaScript. So this is after creating this much of HTML, this is what we get. Let's go to main.js and implement our logic. So first we need to query our input element and output paragraph. So let's get those elements. We'll do it using const input element equal to, we'll query it from the document using query selector. Here we'll give our input text. That is a class that we assigned to the input element, and we'll also query the output element, which is the paragraph. Document dot query selector, and we had given it a class of output binary. Let's see if we did everything correct by logging into the console. Input element comma output element. Okay, let's inspect it. There we have our elements. We don't need it anymore. Just get rid of this thing also. Okay, so now that we have our input element and output element, every time we type a text inside our input element, we want it to get converted to binary. So for that, we'll add an event listener to our input element. So we'll do it using input element dot add event listener. The listener needs to be of the type input, and we'll call a callback function here. Let's pass the event so that we can query the text out of it. Let's query the text. Let input underscore text equal to event dot target dot value. So this will give us the text value that's inside the text box. Now we need to convert this input text into binary, and let's store it inside an array. So we'll create that array also. Let output array equal to, for now we'll create an empty array, and we'll run a for loop which iterates over all the characters of our input text. So let's just do that. For, let's remove this thing, input text dot length, and let's iterate over all the characters, and we'll push the binary into an output array. So we'll just push that output array dot push. Now to convert all the characters of input text into binary, we first need to get the character code, and then we convert it into a string with the base of 2. So let's just do that. We can do that using input text dot character code at, we need to give the index, and we convert it to the string with the base of 2. Okay. Now let's see if it is working. But to see the output array, let's first convert it into a string and assign it to the output element as an inner HTML. So let's just do that. So let's just do that. Output element dot inner HTML equal to output array dot join. We can convert an array into a string using join function, and we'll join it with a space in between. So if we did everything correctly, we should see text that we type here converted into binary. Let's just check that. Cool. See, whatever I type in the input box gets converted to binary. Subscribe. Okay, so this thing is working. So we have our logic implemented in our main.js, HTML index.html. Let's go to style.css to style this HTML converter, and give it a better look. So first we'll do some basic styling. We'll give all the element box sizing of border box. For the body, let's make it a display flex. Oops. Display flex. Justify content center, align item center. We'll give it a height of 100 viewport height and margins 0. This should center our container. Let's give it a background color of this one. Okay. Now let's style our container, which wraps our two sub containers, human display and machine display. So for the container, again, I want the same. I want them to be flex elements. Okay, so now they are side by side. After that, let's style our human display. If you remember, this is a class that we have assigned to the first div. I mean, after inside the container, first div, and after that we have machine display. So let's style this human display. We'll again make it display of flex, and let's give it a height of 300 pixel, width of 350 pixel. Let's see how that looks. Okay. Now all the elements inside human display are placed side by side. That's the default of flex display. Let's make it a flex direction of column so that they are stacked on top of each other. Okay, that looks much better. Let's give it a padding of 10 pixel and background color of this color. Look at that. Now let's style our machine display. We'll use this same thing and we'll give it a background color of this one. Okay. Now let's give some other few more properties to container to make it look even better. Let's round the corners, so we can do it using border radius of, let's say, 10 pixel. We can't see it because there is an overflow from the child elements of this container, so we'll hide that overflow. So for that we'll do overflow hidden. Okay, and let's give it a shadow, so we'll do it using box shadow of 3 pixel, 3 pixel, 5 pixel, and we'll give it a color of black. That looks much better. Let's style our input element. So for input element, I want it to have a background color which is same as the human display. So let's just copy paste. That border doesn't look good, so let's just remove it. Border none. Let's give it a bottom border, so we can do it using border bottom of, let's say, 2 pixel. We'll give it a solid, and let's give it a color of black, or I think I have a color for it, so let's just use this color. Okay, we can also make its width 100% and font size to be, say, 20 pixel. Okay, let's see if this still works. Yeah, font on the machine display, black doesn't look good. Let's convert it to white. Okay, and I also don't like this font, so let's just use another font. Let's copy it from our boilerplate CSS. This is a Cooling Park display from Google Fonts. Just search for Cooling Park and you should be able to get this import statement. Let's put on the top and let's use it in the body. So we'll use it as a font family, Cooling Park, and we can default to sans serif. Okay, much better. So I think this is all that we have for the desktop view. Let's check it one more time. I'll say let's put an emoji of prey. Okay, look at the bytecode of prey. It's a huge bytecode, right? Okay, now this looks good, but I think this looks good only in the desktop version. In the mobile view, and when the display is small, this doesn't look good. So we can fix that using media query. So let's just do that. We'll put up a media query using @media only screen and have a max width of 700 pixel, and then inside this we can have our human display PLAY to have width of 100%. Same thing we can do for machine display. Actually, we could have assigned a class to both of this human display and machine display, because there are many similar properties and use that. I think if you kind of re-implement this project, please do that. So have a common class in both of these displays that have those properties, and just put the background color and font color to be different in those displays. Just have to type those things twice. It doesn't make sense, right? Okay, now that we have our displays set to 100%, let me just minimize this thing. Oops. Okay. Oh, still doesn't work. Can you think of why? Put up that in the comment if you know why it's still not working. I think it's because we don't have a wrap, flex wrap in the containers. So let's just check that. Flex wrap. See? Now it looks much better. Let's add some padding to the body. Okay, let's go to the top and have body with padding of 20 pixels. That looks much better. So when we are more than 700 pixels, it will default to our normal display of 350 pixel width, and as soon as it goes below that, it will be 100% width with a padding of 20 pixels. Okay, so guys, this is all that we have for this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, enable alerts also if you want to know as soon as there is a video posted on this channel, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.